All right, everybody. Hey, welcome back to the Bullhucker podcast. I'm Moose Lundstrom.
Josh Finley.
And
Pierre
we got...
Carrillo. Oh, my bad.
Oh, no. Pierre Carrillo.
I thought I was part of the podcast.
You are part of the podcast.
Okay, making sure. No, I'm just playing.
So Pierre's back with a reveal from last episode. Now I'm going to start off by saying, if you have not watched the last episode, you want to check that out and check out Pierre's 3 stories before you watch this. Because we're going to guess right now on which one of the 3 stories is not true. Because if you're a fan of the podcast, you know Pierre told us 3 stories. 2 of them are true. 1 is not true. Completely made up, he's told us. And Josh and I are going to guess right now. Josh probably going to get it right, and I'm going to my record's shit on this.
Has it?
This is Josh's virgin run, though, on this. He's
nice,
not
man.
sat in the gunner seat yet. So
Okay.
yeah, I'm glad it's not Adam, because Adam kicks my ass at this. He's like the Rain Man of this.
Wrong story.
Yeah, dude, it's amazing.
Damn.
Which scares me, because I've lied to Adam over the years a lot.
He's just right through
A
you.
lot.
He's like, motherfucker's full of shit.
He's like, silly fat bastard.
Oh, my gosh.
But once again, if you're on here, check out the bullhucker.com. You can check out all our episodes, all our previous, and what's coming up. You can see Pierre's and Sideways Sounds, his recording studio. If you want to check out that, there's a link on there. Also on social media, check us out on social media. Like the Facebook on the Bullhucker Facebook page. If you're on YouTube, hit that subscribe button and hit the little bell. Okay, it helps out the show. So, and throughout the show, if you look on the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, you should see a click this button. That's a subscribe button. So if you hit that, you can subscribe right away for the show. Yeah. It's on the bottom right-hand corner, right there. So make sure
Share
you hit
that shit too with all your friends.
Yeah, share it, man. This is fun.
It's a great podcast.
Yeah, it's been fun
Very
so far.
entertainment. This is a blast, man. I've had fun. This is my first time in Nebraska, actually.
We're not in
I'm just
Nebraska.
I'm just playing.
I mean,
You didn't go that far.
Yeah.
You didn't go that far.
yeah, yeah.
Felt like it, but
By the way, have you ever been in Nebraska?
no, I never have.
Okay, well, I just went for the first time not too long ago, and you can't tell.
I would kind of figure.
It's a little let down. You know?
I wasn't sure. I was like, did I drive past the exit when I was coming?
It's a little greenner. It's a little
Is it?
greener on that side, yeah. It's pretty dry on our side.
It is.
I'm dating a woman from Sterling, Colorado, and she was like, "You've never been to Nebraska?" I'm like, "No, I work for Budweiser. I was in Julesburg twice a week, man. So I've been within 5 miles of Nebraska a few hundred times, right?" And so we went to Cabela's. We went to Sydney. You know what I mean? It's cool. You'd like Cabela's, man. It's pretty. It's actually impressive. You know,
The sporting goods store? Yeah.
the original ones in Sydney.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
I
the
didn't know
home
that.
store, man. That's
Oh,
the
shit.
very first one, right?
It's I think so. It's either that or North Platte.
Okay.
Okay.
But yeah.
One of the original ones?
The corporate offices were in Sydney till Bass Pro Shops bought them out.
Right.
Oh, wow.
Got rid of all that.
Bastard Bass Pro Shops. But yeah, we crossed the state line, and she's all, yeah, here's Nebraska, and I'm like, this is like
Feels
super
like home.
disappointing. Yeah.
Yeah.
This looks like the shitty part of Colorado I'm from. You know what I mean?
Why would you bring me here?
We went to Oklahoma to visit her family, drove through Kansas. Guess what? Looks
same
like
shit.
Colorado, Nebraska, you know?
I've driven through Kansas, man. That's a pretty depressing drive.
It's
I-70.
It's forever, man.
Yeah.
You can watch your dog run away all day long in Kansas. You know?
Yeah, you can fall asleep at the wheel, man, and wake up the other side of Kansas and still be on the highway.
Wake up 4 hours later.
Yeah, you're like, oh, I feel good now. Almost to Missouri. Shit.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
It's horrible. So
Man.
last week we had 3 stories. Here I Come, CeeLo, Glock 17, and Blue Lives Matter.
Yeah.
All right, Josh. You have one in your head, right?
I do have one in my head.
But as we do, we Rochambeau to see who has to guess first, right?
Ah, nice.
We're doing
Old
4,
school.
right?
4?
I think it's 4. Do you do 3 or 4?
I don't.
How do you do it? Do you do?
Yeah, I was doing 1.
Okay,
2,
we're doing
3
then. Okay, 4 is the bastard Adam way.
Wow.
What do you do?
I do 1, 2, 3, go.
So you go
Oh,
1, 2, 3, then
4.
shoot.
Yeah,
Okay,
then
so
shoot. That's
there's-
the way I've always done it.
He's a dirty 4 pumper, like Adam and the rest of them.
That's I'm a 3-pump chump, I guess.
It's the
dude.
craziest thing.
Step your game up.
I didn't realize there was 2 different ways to do it.
I mean, I guess I've seen it both ways. I'm just used to the 4th one.
Dude, I picked scissors a lot, I guess, because Adam was kicking my ass because he kept picking rock because he wasn't shooting right away. We'd stop
Just
early.
holds it.
He'd see you throw yours, then he'd throw the extra one. Like, oh, I gotta run.
Well, he was going to pump one more time, but he's like, and I'm like, oh, happy. I'm like, how do you keep beating me? And he's like, because you're an idiot.
You're going ahead of me. I'm not even playing yet.
So we were hoping to start this like blue gold dress thing, where everybody's like
Oh my gosh.
judging people. Like, it doesn't matter if you like Trump. It doesn't matter if you like Biden.
Right.
You just like, are you a 3-pumper or a 4-pumper?
That's what it all comes down to.
I'll be damned if my daughter's going to date a dirty 3-pumper.
Oh my
All right. So we're going to go on 3. Ready?
On 3.
Damn it.
Oh, you lost again, man.
I think subliminally
I was trying to even give you the upper hand.
I know. All right, so we have 3 stories. Pair of great stories.
Thank you.
The one my mind goes to is the CeeLo one, but that in my experience with this, that's the most outrageous one, I think. You know what I mean? Because it's CeeLo Green. He's pretty well known. Yeah. Is he on The Voice now or something? Or
I think he was. Yeah, I think so.
American
yeah,
Idol. He's on one of them.
Yeah,
he was one of the judges. He's pretty well known. So usually, I see. That's the one I want to pick, but I know you've probably been around guys like CeeLo Green.
I've worked with a lot of big rappers.
So that might not be a stretch. The Blue Lives Matter. I can see that. And here I come. I really want that one just to be true. That's so. I'm gonna regret it, Matt. I'm gonna go Blue Lives Matter as my Bullhucker. I know for one point in time, you're the only person I've known that happened this. You got a DUI for smoking weed, right?
I did. Back in 2009.
Yeah.
The day my grandma died, dude.
It sucks.
Yeah. You got pulled over in fucking Pueblo, of all places.
Yeah.
Went to jail in Pueblo.
Because I remember, like, when you told me that, I'm like, can you go to jail for smoking weed or being too high? Turns out you can.
You can. Take it from me. You can. And you got to go through the whole fucking alcohol classes and Mothers Against Drunk Driving and breathalyzers. I'm like, I don't even fucking drink.
Oh my God.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It was fucking crazy.
I didn't kill anybody. I killed a bag of Cheetos.
Yeah,
later.
that's it, man. I hit Sonic on the way down. I have the trash right here.
So I think I'm going to go Blue Lives Matter. CeeLo is where I want to go, but I think you might have met CeeLo Green. I could think that might have happened. So I'm going to go Blue Lives Matter.
Cool.
You're good, man.
I didn't know if that was it or not.
No.
I'm kind of with you. Like, obviously, this is my first time sitting in this seat and hearing the stories, but I've had the advantage of listening to other people tell their stories. And one of the things that kind of always stands out is the detail, like how much detail's in a story.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, the outrageous side of it, I would lean towards Blue Lives Matter just because, how many people have that actually happen, but
Right.
As we talked earlier, obviously I've had it happen. We've seen it happen, so it's possible, but I almost want to pick the CeeLo just because it didn't seem to have you didn't have the
passion.
Well, not the passion, but the calling out the 14th and Market. I was on 14th and Market, and I was parked this way, and there was a lot of detail. The girl, same thing. Hey, I know she's getting married. So that sort of thing. But I'm tied up, man, because I almost want to pick Blue Lives Matter, honestly.
Only one person's beat us both. Only one guy, John Beltran, a local radio guy.
Really?
See if you beat us both, then you be number 2.
Good company. All
I'm
right.
gonna start while you're thinking about that. I'm gonna start a Hall of Fame page as soon as there's 2 of them.
Okay.
And the pictures of the guys who beat us both go on the Hall of Fame page.
Nice.
It'll say Hall of Fame, dirty some bitches. That's what it's gonna say.
Well, I think I'm gonna take number 2. I'm gonna take CeeLo.
CeeLo.
Yep.
You want to grab the board and see what we got?
All right. You ready?
Yeah.
I'm ready.
CeeLo. 1-0.
Never met CeeLo. My brother did, but I never met him.
Oh shit.
Yeah, the other 2 are true.
There's a lot of detail, man.
Yeah.
The only joy I get out of this now is that Matt Gordon is not the only undefeated, so I don't have to listen to that crap anymore. Josh Finley's in your neighborhood. That's disappointing, man. So the Blue Lives Matter happened.
Yeah, man, it happened
Okay.
a couple years ago. Yeah.
I was waiting for you to say when you were talking about getting pulled over about being high and being pulled over, and that's why I'm like, okay, I know this one's true, but oh man,
no, that really happened, man, and I fucking don't know how the fuck I got away with that.
Yeah,
it was crazy.
That's crazy, especially in Denver. Well, I mean, in Denver they probably have bigger fish to fry.
Yeah, but it was fucking prime time, 2 a.m.
Yeah.
They were just hot. They were doing DUI stops. It was a Saturday night, I think.
Right.
So, so it was prime time. Yeah.
And the one nice thing is too. Number one is "Here I Come."
That was a very true story. And I still tell friends to this day, and they still are like, "How the fuck did you do that?" And I have no fucking idea. All I know is I got hit in the eye with a load, and I was the only man in the room, so.
You better hope.
I hope so anyway. I didn't see anybody.
First, like, did you spit in my eye?
Yeah,
She's like, how would I spit in your eye?
Yeah, like I'm facing the opposite way of you. So yeah, it was. I was both impressed and disgusted at the same time. I'm like, I got some fucking range, and then at the same time, I'm like, God damn, I just saw myself in the eye.
That's the story I would say. I know a guy. He told me that this happened. Not me, man, not me, but I know a guy.
Exactly.
I've been through enough safety meetings. I'd have washed my eye out like crazy. I'd have been in the sink, letting it run out, because I don't know where that girl's been.
Right?
You know what I'm saying?
You can't go to the hospital with that, though, right?
No.
What happened?
They'll never believe you. They're like, yeah, you're sucking dick, motherfucker.
Exactly right.
Like, I swear to God, I swear to God, I wasn't. Yeah, right.
It's mine. I swear to God. Yeah, you bet.
Yeah, right. Oh my God. There's no fucking way.
They bring another doctors. They're like, hey, tell them whose it is. It's mine. I swear to God, you're all set.
Doctor just laugh in your face.
Yeah, number one.
He's like, look, if you want to get better, you can't be lying to me. I know what really happened.
You need to. It's like when a rattlesnake bites you. We need the rattlesnake, okay?
Right.
Go get the guy who unloaded his rifle into your eye, okay? That's hilarious.
On the doctor's shelf, there's my celery and your cum. Like that was in his eye, that was in his gut. I don't know.
This guy came in. He said he was getting with a girl. Come on,
off her back, off the shoulder, in his eye.
I just don't
logistics don't work, man.
This is
he was obviously sucking some dick somewhere.
Right. It's okay. You can tell us. It's 2020. It's okay.
It's safe. Yeah, nobody's gonna judge you.
You're in a bigger city. Like you're not a little town. Like, listen, boy.
Are you a fag? That's how you're sucking dicks.
It's horrible,
man.
It's horrible.
Well, you had it was one of the nights. I don't know, probably fourth or fifth show I've been out here, and you had Jordan Weebla came out here and
Weebla,
and she tore that stage up, dude. As soon as you announced her and told the story, like I knew right away, like
she's transgender.
She was transgender, and in Fort Morgan, nonetheless, which is not to
probably
say
well known, yeah,
but she come on stage and immediately, like you could tell that it's probably but she's telling jokes and just killing it, dude. Just freaking killing it. Right. And I laughed so hard I left that night, and I made a Facebook post that night that I was like, that took balls. Literally, man. Because everybody out here, they're looking at each other like, should we laugh? Because that was funny. But are we supposed to laugh? Like, do we got to pay extra on Sunday? Like, how does that work? Like,
she was telling me outside that the problem she has is people don't believe her, that she's transgender.
She looked like a woman.
Yeah.
I mean, pass.
Yeah,
she
was
pass.
Petite,
Yeah.
But I knew when Jordan was, identified as a man, because that's when we started together comedy. That's how I knew him. Yeah, her. But and then she passed.
Yeah, she passed
a couple years ago.
Oh shit.
Had some respiratory problems. I can't remember what it was. She had a medical condition.
Something or something.
It's too bad, man.
Yeah, rest in peace.
She was good people, man. She really was. She was good.
That's funny.
people.
You can make fun of like that kind of shit. It's like your own shit. Like you make fun of yourself. Like,
right.
And it's not. I'm probably for them. It's probably not. It's probably how they deal with the negative part that comes with that shit. Just laugh it off and accept it, and people laugh with you.
And she was not. I don't want to use the word aggressive, but she was not afraid of the crowd either.
No,
not
that's
at all.
good.
You can't be as a comedian, man. You can't be.
Yeah, she knew the odds were kind of against her in a small town. Because who knows how they're going to react to her? It's not the big liberal city.
No,
very conservative little town. So.
Definitely.
Oh well.
Yeah, that's interesting. Wow.
Well, shit, my record gets even worse.
Man, horrible, dude.
And I thought it was CeeLo too. That's what kills me. That's the second week in a row, man.
Really?
Well, the last time I got it because I've already ruined it. But yeah. But there's times like people are going to come on this podcast about people they've met, famous people, and you're like, like my mom. Did you watch Mom's episode? She met Sting. in Pueblo.
Oh, no shit. In Pueblo?
Yeah.
What the fuck was Sting doing in Pueblo?
Their bus had broke down or something, so it was like Mr. A's somewhere on the north side.
Okay.
Was 18 Up Club, so yeah. Yeah.
Wow, no fucking way.
Yeah, she told me that story a couple years ago, and she's like, "Oh yeah, I know him." I'm like, "You know Sting?" You just
right, Mom. Yeah,
I know him. Yeah, we used to drink all together. You know what I'm saying? He used to kill cats. He's a weirdo.
I was backstage.
Yeah. She's like, "Yeah, he gave me his album, and he signed it." I'm like, "You have an autographed?" No, I gave it away.
Gave it away.
Like, why would you give it away? She's like, "'Cause I don't know who he was." She had no clue who he was. So yeah.
Wow.
But stories like that you hear, so
Wow.
Pure madness. Well, what are you gonna do?
1-0.
Yeah, yeah.
I won't tell you my real record because that's one.
Yeah.
A lot on the other side.
If you watch this podcast, and once again, if you're watching this, make sure you leave when you see these on Facebook. Leave your guess. It's fun when people leave their guess.
Yeah.
Because it's fun to read it because us three know the answer.
Yeah.
You know, we've known the answer for a week,
right,
so it's fun to watch people try and guess this stuff, and they're like, "I know you, dude." You know what I mean? So
yeah.
That's the funnest part for me. You know what I mean? You realize how little your friends really know about you.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So it'll be fun. So
that's cool, man. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, it'll be fun. So you're gonna be out next week. So
cool.
Yeah, it'll be out on a Wednesday. So
nice.
Awesome. I'll check out the date. But anyway, anything to pump before you leave?
No, man, no.
Anything you want to pump before you go?
Like I said, my social media is all at Sideways Sounds. It's SYDEWAYZ, and then Sounds SOUNDZ with a Z. Sounds with a Z. And then it's sidewaysounds.com is my website.
Right, and we'll have that on the description of the podcast everywhere. So cool. Awesome. And on bullhucker.com, check out episode 13. That's right. Or no, episode 14. Sorry, episode 14. It's hard because we split these episodes. I get lost.
Yeah.
Episode 14, look for the Sideways Sounds logo and click on that, and it'll go right to his webpage. All right?
Perfect.
All right, guys. Hey, thanks so much. Stick around. We got 3 new stories coming up, man. Peace. Hey, everybody. Thanks for sticking around. I'm back. We've changed up the order. Okay. We did have Josh Finley back for the last episode. Adam Glubke's back.
Yep.
You want to hear some bad news?
What's that?
Now we have 2 co's that they're undefeated.
Oh, Josh got it too.
Josh got it last week. I missed it.
Maybe I should just be gone all the time.
Yeah. Well, no, because then it'd be me and 18 assholes who can't miss. That's what it's going to be, you know? So, horrible, man.
Hey, I was one of those assholes that couldn't miss either for like the first 3.
Well, it's
and
tough
now I'm on a drought.
Pierre Carrillo was our last our guest, and I've known the guy for like 20-some years. Finley met him 20 minutes before the podcast, you know, and kicked my ass. But we have a new guest here, Allan Goodwin. What's going on, brother?
What's going on, guys? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You're in town helping us out with a gig we had. So a benefit we were doing. So Allan was kind enough to come down and hook us up with a headliner.
Yeah, that was a fun time.
Yeah.
We're getting another show tonight.
We do have one more tonight. We were talking before this. I was going to bring it up. It's been 8 months since you got to do any live or at all, or no?
Well, I've done some Zoom shows and some drive-in shows.
Right.
But it's a different vibe, both of them.
Oh, I'm sure.
A lot worse vibe. Those Zoom shows, right? Camera adds 10 pounds, quarantine adds 30. So I'm just like a massive blob.
Solo.
Telling jokes.
That was the Job of the Hut.
That was, by the way.
I know.
He's all the building shit, and I'm all the nerd stuff. So that's we gotta help each other out like that, you know.
Yeah.
Are you a Star Wars fan?
I love Star Wars.
Attaboy.
Yeah.
Did you like the new ones?
I liked Rogue One. But I don't know. The other ones, I still love Star Wars. I'm going to watch them, but
me too.
I don't know that it helped my storyline. And I mean, I was 10 when I first saw New Hope. And,
oh wow!
And it was just amazing. It was amazing.
Were you one of those kids that went down to the theater every 25 times to watch it or whatever?
No, but I think I saw it like 3 times.
Okay, well, still that's pretty.
Yeah, you don't see movies over and over again,
right?
But I did for Star Wars. It was just so cool.
Did you ever go back to the theater to watch anything twice, Adam?
I saw Independence Day.
Oh, that's funny. Me too.
I saw that like 3 times. I lived in Cimarron, Kansas, so I'd go to the theater over in Dodge City just because there's some cute chick working there. But I like the movie too. But
Adam's a hoe.
I kind of am. I'm not going to deny it.
But no, that's funny. Independence Day, because it came out in '94.
Mm-hmm.
I just graduated high school. Me and my buddies went to Denver to the Thornton Town Center, and they had all the new Dolby, all the new sound system. That's like, everybody's got on their iPhone now, but back then it was a big deal, And it was, I was so blown away by that movie, and we had to go back and rewatch it.
It was a pretty cool movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My buddy bought it when it came out on DVD, and I was so jealous he had that movie. You know what I mean?
Another one I saw multiple times was Forrest Gump.
I liked Forrest Gump.
That was a great movie.
That was a feel-good movie.
That's a
sure.
classic. For sure.
So 8 months without comedy, you come back and do it. You did good last night. You and Terry both
I was
did
going to
well.
ask you guys.
You did great. It was fun.
I did everything on my set list. So,
well, I was telling Adam. So what we did to you was we gave you the worst situation possible for stand-up comedy. We had a social distance last night, so you and Terry had kind of a smaller crowd, and they were spread out in a big room. Yeah. So I mean that's tough.
And you were at ground level, so you didn't have like the stage there.
Yeah.
So comedy at ground level,
right,
spread thin is not.
Right.
But the spotlight helps a lot, and they were paying attention, and as long as I heard laughter, I just kept going, and I heard a lot of laughter last night.
They were good. They were good.
They were having a good time.
I was going to tell you when you get into the part of your set where you're talking about the song lyrics.
Yeah.
So the last time you were here, and you was talking about "Soul to Squeeze" by Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Yeah.
On the way home, I downloaded that song and listened to it on the way home to try to figure out the part you're talking about, and I couldn't figure it out.
Right? No.
So then I get home, and my girls are at home. I have two daughters, are 12 and 15, going to be 16 next week. But I was like, what does he say right here? And they both just started giggling, and they're like, I don't know. No. So then I find the lyrics. So we're listening to the song, and I'm reading the lyrics. I'm like, okay, whatever. But yeah, so you helped me fill like a half hour with my girls last night trying to figure out song lyrics and stuff. So it was cool. We were having a good time trying to figure out all that stuff.
That's good that parents can bond with their kids like that through comedy.
Right.
That's a good thing.
Your set, it's fun because we've had so many comics out here, because we've ran shows for almost 10 years out here. So we've seen hundreds of shows out here,
Right.
Hundreds. There's been a lot. And you come across speaking of that, the Eddie Vedder.
Oh, right, yeah.
Ledbetter?
Ledbetter, yellow Ledbetter.
That is the best joke ever, because you know what? It's almost a joke like you almost respect, because it's so true.
Yeah.
You still giggle at it, but you're like...
You can't understand anything.
I give you props for even catching that, you know what I mean, and making a joke out of it. That's fantastic. And the way you do it sounds just like Eddie Vedder. So, because my mom she was confused, and I'm like, well, we'll listen to it tomorrow, Mom.
Yeah. Can't believe she hasn't heard it. They play so much.
Well, because Pearl Jam was in Motown. That's why she,
Oh,
yeah.
Hey, gotta love Motown, man.
Yeah. She's a big Motown person.
That's good stuff.
Yeah. But not so much alternative grunge from the 90s. She was pretty much dead against that.
No Nirvana.
No.
This past summer when my girls were here, my 15-year-old, she goes, Dad, have you ever heard of Offspring?
Oh, my God.
Or no, Green Day. Have you ever heard of Green Day? I'm like,
it's even worse.
Seriously, come on now.
Yeah.
Right.
And so then I grabbed my phone and I start playing like Offspring, and I was like, well, then here's this one, and I was playing like Saliva and Drowning Pool and Puddle of Mud, and she's like, I go, yeah, your dad actually listened to some pretty cool music once upon a time. But she's like, wow, what's the name of that song? And she's like downloading stuff, and I'm waiting for a call from her mother. Yeah. Why is my daughter listening to Let the Bodies Hit the Floor? Well,
I DJ'd for a long time. We both did, and we did some high school dances. High school dances are my favorite to do, Alan, for the simple reason is they get over early. The kids tell you exactly what they want, and if they're drunk or high, they're trying to hide it from you. It's fantastic. You know what I mean? As opposed to a bar where someone's like, the kids, they're trying to hide. They're trying to keep it together to let you know what they want if they're drunk or high. So it's always nice, But they'll always come up to you and say stuff like, my dad made me listen to this music. You ever heard of AC/DC? I'm like, oh, yeah, everything. I have it. Yeah, everything they've ever made. What would you like to hear? Bonus points if you don't pick Shook Me All Night Long,
If you got a Spotify account now, you can hear anything you want. And
it's awesome.
Ever. Mm-hmm. Just name it.
It's awesome.
And I don't know if have you guys tried Google's what's this song?
No,
have you tried that yet? So this just came out like a couple weeks ago, but you can go to Google now and say, what's this song? And start whistling or humming.
Shut up.
And it's pretty, it's really accurate.
Really?
Yeah. And I used to try that with SoundHound and other apps, and none of them worked.
Right,
But,
I have sound hounds. What I use,
but it doesn't work if you're whistling or humming. It just says
it tells you to try not to talk.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Put your
phone
closer to the speaker. Right.
Really?
Yeah.
That's almost more scary than it is impressive.
It'll tell you to put your phone closer to the speaker and do not talk or sing with the song.
Yeah, I tried it the other day, like for an hour and a half. Just okay, what's this song? and then it's like, oh, you nailed it. All right, way to go, Google. I was amazed.
Crazy.
I just kept doing it over and over.
And finally, Google's all, Alan, I own you.
Yeah.
I have other people to be Googling with, my friend.
Right.
One more.
Yeah, I was doing a lot of whistling that day.
That's awesome. Yeah, you've been on comedy for how long?
29 years.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're one of our favorites out here for sure, man. So
I love doing it. I love coming out here, Brush and Sterling. Good times.
You're one of the big guys when we have holiday parties. I usually call you. There's a list of probably 4 or 5 comics out of Denver I call that can pull it off. And everybody that's ever booked you have always called me and been happy about it. I'm like, well, that's cool, man.
Yeah, I don't want to disappoint. Although I was a little worried with one of the jokes I did last night about pollen. I was like, is this over the line? I hope this isn't over the line.
I don't think so, man. There was a lot of law enforcement there last night, obviously. So they see horrible stuff every day.
Yeah.
Like when they charge, like, are they going to be dirty? I'm like, what are they going to say that's going to offend a police officer,
Exactly.
honestly? You know what I mean?
Right.
It's not like they don't hear cursing already at them, you know?
Right.
So
Right.
And they were good sports last night. I think they had a good time. So they seemed to really enjoy it.
Yeah, and the chief of police here looks just like Rob Halford from the Judas Priest.
He does. I never noticed that until he said it. I'm going to tell him that, too. Yeah. It's true. It's hilarious. And he might be a Judas Priest fan. He might be a metalhead.
Hey,
I don't know.
Never know.
He's a good dude, though. He's a really good dude. So before we get going, though, I always forget to say, on the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, if you want to subscribe, you can always hit that button. We just put that in. So it's a little green button that says click here. Yeah, no, there you go. Right there. Towards Mr. Goodwin. Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
I always forget to bring that up. So so what we're here for, what we do here is we bring a guest on. Obviously, because this is the second part of the episode 15. And what he does is he tells 3 stories about his life, and only 2 of them are true. One is what we call the Bullhucker. And I'm struggling getting through this because it's 8 in the morning right now, so it's a little early for all of us. But since we had you in town, that's why we're doing this. So what Adam and I do is we pick out the 3 stories randomly, and we listen to you, and we try and pick out which one we think is the lie. Now, I have to ask you this. The one is not true, Alan. Is it completely made up, or did you borrow it from somebody?
It's pretty much made up.
Okay. Is there any truth to it at all?
Very little.
Very little. Okay. Cool. It's always, it's just something we like to ask.
Yeah.
Because lately we've been on a big spree of that. For the first couple, they were borrowed. People would borrow stories from somebody else. But it was so early in this podcast, nobody really, you know what I mean? So
it's hard when you got to come up with a lie.
Right.
You know? Right. I mean, not for Trump, but for most people, it's hard.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
If Matt Gordon was here, Matt's, out of everybody that does this, he's really good at picking up on, like, tells.
Yeah.
Like, Matt would be good at poker, I feel like. Matt would kill it at poker, you know, because he catches, like, oh, you were rubbing your ear or you rubbed your eye. And I was like, how did he catch that? Like, you know, I'm staring at the
wall. Now I'm keeping my hands on my knees for all of these stories.
Yeah, so, all right. Well, you weren't here last week, Matt, so I'll let you take the first shot. Man.
I love you said you weren't here last week, Matt.
Man.
No, Matt was. I'm going to go with Too Big for Your Britches.
Too Big for Your Britches. Okay. So I had been doing comedy for about 10 years, and I was at the DC Improv working with Bobcat Goldthwait. And I had worked with Bobcat Goldthwait. Actually, no, this is my first time. This is the first time I ever worked with Bobcat Goldthwait. And so this is like 2 weeks after he was on the Tonight Show and he lit Johnny Carson's couch on fire.
Okay.
So I'm working with him at the DC Improv, and sets are going good. It's a week-long run. It's like Tuesday through Saturday. Usually it's Tuesday through Sunday, but he couldn't do the Sunday. He could only go Tuesday through Saturday. So it's Saturday, and shows have been going good so far, and there's 2 shows. and I think I was featuring, and then he comes out and he's doing his set, and for just no weird, just some like a wild hair up his butt, he says, corporate stuff is bullshit, and he takes the sign out of the improv, out of the brick wall, and just starts ripping it, pulling it off the wall, and just rips it off the wall.
What improv is this at?
The DC Improv.
Okay.
In Washington, D.C. And I'm just like, what the hell's going on?
Right.
And he didn't even have a joke for it, other than, I don't like corporate bullshit. And then he starts ripping it out of the wall. And so it just got weird, and his set ends, and everyone leaves. And between shows, he asks to get paid. And the general manager, John Johnson's like, I'm not paying you. I mean, I don't know what you're going to do next. I've already got to dock you the money to get that sign replaced.
Right.
And I don't know what to cut the check for, because I don't even know how much that's going to cost. And then last show of his run, he goes up and does like a half hour on the general manager, just being the dick. He's just like, they won't pay me, and I wear a tie, and and he's just like going off on the GM, and I'm like, this guy has got huge balls,
Right.
to be doing this,
Right.
and he hasn't been paid yet. I mean, that's the story.
Right. What year is this around?
I guess it'd probably be like 2001.
So he's still living off those police academy checks. That's what's going on.
Yeah, it was like 2000, 2001, somewhere around there.
So how did it end? Did he get paid? Did he?
Yeah, I think the GM said that he paid him, but he didn't pay him the full amount. He like kept $1,000 and deducted, like, if the work it cost to put the sign back up was $800, he would mail him a $200 check,
Right.
or whatever. But he kept $1,000, I think, to get the wall fixed.
Was it a packed house? Did people show up to see Bobcat?
Yeah, he was a draw. The funny thing is, I worked with him like 4 or 5 years after that, and by the way, the whole week he was just very standoffish. Wouldn't just like get away from me, whatever, and just kind of a dick and whatever. I mean, not a dick, but just non-social.
Right.
I worked with him like 4 or 5 years after that. 180 out.
Really?
Nicest guy in the world. Like,
right.
Hey, let's hang out. You're really cool. Let's have fun. This is going to be great. Like, I'm like,
right.
Who are you? Like,
Right,
I think he
right.
was on some major drugs the first time I worked with him.
Bobcat versus the Badgerine.
Yeah. I was in Badgerine back then.
No?
I was just Allan Goodwin.
Okay.
Yeah. Badgerine came along later.
What does someone like Bobcat make in 2001, do you think, just ballpark?
Oh, with the residuals? Lots.
Yeah.
Yeah. He didn't have anything to worry about. Yeah.
Well, I was asking, like, would that $1,000 hurt him, you think, not getting paid, or is it just that was a drop in the bucket for that check?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But I couldn't believe that he would go ask to get paid before the last show.
Right.
And the GM had every right to say what he said.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm not paying you for that.
I mean, I don't think I would. You know what I mean? If you destroyed part of our stage, you know what I mean? And we're small potatoes,
I was going to say, our stage was built out of scrap plywood. And
it was so weird, though, that like he didn't even have a joke for it. And like, it's a big move to do that. And it's like a kick in the teeth. It's like dropping the mic, literally.
Well, I mean,
nobody who runs a room wants to see a comic literally drop the mic.
Yeah,
they lose their
cringe.
shit.
Yeah, they're expensive.
Yeah, it's stupid. Why would you do that?
I mean, the mic we use isn't crazy expensive, but it would be expensive enough to piss me off if you broke it.
Yeah.
Like that,
Exactly. No, I get it. I know. Why damage anything at any gig where they're paying you to be there and be funny?
Yeah.
Just be funny.
To do something you genuinely like to do.
It wasn't even funny.
I think that's a perfect name for that story. That too big for your britches. For sure.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Bobcat Goldthwait, I don't know. I want to say that he's into like the Bigfoot conspiracy stuff now or something, right?
I don't know.
I thought he was he's doing something like that. Maybe I'm thinking of somebody else. I'd have to look into it. But last I heard that that was kind of down his. Maybe I'm thinking of somebody else. I thought it was Bobcat. When he did a show back then, was it in the same character as it was?
Yeah,
Zed from the police.
But then, like 4 or 5 years later, that was gone. So, like, a whole bunch of stuff had changed about him.
Right.
Between the time I first worked with him and the time I worked with him at UC Baltimore.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I got to tell you that voice has got to just play havoc on your throat, man, and on your vocal cords.
Yeah, that's probably why he quit doing it.
I mean, it's got to be tough. Although I got to be honest, I was such a huge fan as a kid. Police Academies were some of my favorite movies.
Oh yeah, for sure, they were great.
You look back now and you kind of like the first two or three hold up, but after that, like I still watched to number 7 because I loved him as a kid. But I mean, yeah, but Zed was probably one of my favorites. Obviously, why wouldn't he be?
Right.
And he was big out of that Boston scene, with Leary and all those guys. So
yeah, he was.
We do. Okay, I liked it.
That's one of my stories.
Got
I got 2 more.
All right. So I'm going to try. Cruise gigs don't always pay well.
They usually do, though.
Right.
They usually do. They're between like 3,000, 5,000 ish, depending on how many days you're out.
Right.
But yeah, this one didn't.
Right.
But it's my fault. Anyways, so have you ever heard of the rock and roll cruise on Carnival?
Is it like when they have like the bands?
3 bands. Yeah.
Yeah. They're like it's something like Blink 182 or a special like.
Right.
Okay.
This one was REO Speedwagon, Journey, and who was the other one? Styx.
Okay, that'd be amazing.
That'd be a good cruise.
It was REO, and I was supposed to open for Journey, and that was pretty exciting. I like old Journey, like when they started, Wheel in the Sky and stuff like that.
With Steve
Perry.
Steve Perry.
Yeah.
You don't like the
but I didn't even like Steve Perry, like when they started like Escape, that album, and that was too bubblegum for me.
Okay.
But the old Journey was rock and roll, and I really liked it. And I was looking forward to opening for him. But so the cruise was we left Miami, you go to Jamaica, then Bermuda, and I flew home from Bermuda.
Okay.
So. But they pay for your airfare too, and like $3,000 to $5,000.
Nice.
It's great.
Yeah.
So they flew me to Miami, got on the boat, we went to Jamaica. We're in Montego Bay, and you're allowed the day to go hang out in Jamaica. So I went and hung out in Jamaica, and then I came back to port to get on the boat. Boat wasn't there. Boat had left. I called the cruise director. I'm like, hey, thought you guys left something behind. And they're like, you were supposed to have been there 2 hours ago. Like, what the hell were you thinking? And I'm like, oh, I thought you were leaving at 8. No, we'd leave at 6. And oh, my bad. Yeah. And then they're like, they said, hold on, we'll call you back. So they call me back, and they say, go to Kingston. Get in a cab, go to Kingston. And I go to this helicopter place that gives hour-long tours. But the helicopter place had worked out a deal with Carnival to fly me onto the boat. And so I got a helicopter ride. And the thing is, if you take their tour, it's like $200 a person to do their hour-long tour around Jamaica. But they charge Carnival $2,000 for flying me onto the boat. And then flying back. And so I only made like $1,000 from that gig.
Oh,
yeah. But I did get to open for Journey. So
that's cool.
You'd have been further ahead to rip a sign out of the
I was
wall.
just gonna say.
I
What do you think you are, Bobcat Goldthwait, man? No, of course
Right.
you're going to pay for that ride. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool. How many cruises have you done?
Well, I would say like 4 or 5.
Cool.
But it's my fault. I went short on this set. And once you go short on a set, the word gets around and they don't book you back.
Really?
I went short on the set for I don't know what got into me. I went too short, and then they were like they don't say we're not going to hire you back anymore. They just their actions.
They just ghost you.
Yeah, they just ghost you. Yeah, that's it.
How short did you go?
I think I was supposed to do a half hour, and I did like 22. I was like 8 minutes short.
Yeah.
But it was just a packed room, so many kids, and I was so I wasn't as far along as I am now in my career,
Right.
and didn't have the material, to be quite honest. I just, without, maybe offending somebody, and didn't want to do that. So I just said, I bailed.
Right.
I'm like, I've done all my clean stuff. I got to get out of here. And
Right.
And then they're like, you were 8 minutes shy of what you were supposed to have done.
It would be tough to do comedy in a room full of kids.
There were a
We
lot
have.
of kids.
Yeah, I was going to say,
Yeah.
But it was
a couple
packed.
times.
It was packed, and it was a big showroom, huge showroom.
Right.
And there was a lot of adults, but there were a lot of kids too. And it's just weird, especially if you don't have the material.
Right.
I do now, Carnival. If you hire me back, I've got the clean material now.
Carnival, give my man here a shot. Okay?
Right? What's up with that? Oh, you know what? I don't know if I wanted to be doing the coronavirus cruise gigs right now.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah, the cesspool. So I've always heard, I don't know if it's true or not, when you do those Carnival gigs, you have to have two sets, like a clean one and a dirty one, right? Is that
you
true?
do the venue that I was talking about. Then you do like it's a comedy club basically on a
Right.
boat, and they want you to go as blues you want to go,
Oh,
and
that's
it's
cool.
great there. So yeah, that is true.
So you need like an agent to book that or no?
I guess so. I don't have one, so I don't have any carnival
Adam,
gigs.
now you do. Adam's going to be your guy. So
Hook me up,
I
Adam.
don't know about being an agent. That'd be security for you.
That's cool. That's a good story. I liked it.
Yeah.
You've been to Jamaica.
Yeah, actually, my wife and I, well, ex-wife now, but at the time, went to Montego Bay
Yeah.
for our honeymoon.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's awesome. We were there in October, so it was like the rainy season and stuff. But
And
it
everyone's like, "Oh man, Jamaica, the weed, man, it's incredible."
Yeah.
It's not. It's like the worst weed
Is it
ever.
really?
Yeah, like don't go.
Well,
what's funny is we stayed at a Sandals resort, like an all-inclusive,
Right.
and we get there, we get checked in, and they send a bellhop over to help us with our bags and all that. And this guy's name was Graham, and so he was talking to us, and he says, "So if you want a party, just come find Graham. Graham can hook you up." And I was like, "Gotcha."
With a gram?
Yeah, maybe, I don't know,
Yeah.
but yeah, we never went and found Graham.
Yeah.
but it was fun. It was
but
it was a good time.
Maybe they were saying the Jamaican weed was good because that's before America started legalizing this stuff and making medical grade, like weapons grade marijuana. You know what I mean? So,
especially here in Colorado.
oh yeah, they're messing around here in Colorado, man. So
Yeah, most other states are dealing with the pandemic. We're dealing with the pot and pandemic.
yeah.
Pots and pans.
Yeah, they actually have dispensaries here now. So
In Brush?
Log Lane, when you're first coming through Fort Morgan, it's on the left of Fort Morgan. It's like Fort Morgan's little suburb, I guess.
Is it what's the word I'm looking for? The medical, or is it
No, it's
It's both.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you could get either.
Yeah,
way.
they was there's actually 3 or 4 of them now. They're popping up. so,
recreational? That's the word I was looking for.
let's bring a lot
Why
of
is
money.
recreational stuff so much more expensive? Because you don't have to get that license, I guess.
I guess, yeah.
Well,
Because they can be.
Yeah,
I
you're
mean,
right.
you're gonna buy
Well,
it,
yeah,
right? I
it's
mean,
like-
Yeah.
why is a one-way helicopter trip $2,000 for one and
Exactly,
then $200 for somebody else?
exactly.
I mean,
that's actually he's being funny, but that's actually a very good point.
I mean, yeah,
you know,
it's the same thing.
It's exact same thing.
it
Yeah.
costs like that because
because like
because
you
they
said,
can.
because they can.
yeah,
Right.
That's how our world is now. That's with everything. You pay extra for everything because then don't have it. You
Yeah.
bastards. Okay, all right, 2 down. You got any thoughts so far?
Yeah, I have one that might be. I don't know.
I gotta be honest. I can't. I don't know. Both. I don't have a clear cut one yet in my head. So
Well, there's still one more to hear.
there's still one more to hear. So
And
Mr.
that would
Woogie?
be can't judge a book by its cover.
Yeah, can't judge a book by its cover. So I've had a day job for a long time when I started doing comedy. I was fixing computers and printers and electronics for the most part.
that sounds horrible, man.
It was bad. I had a lot of the clients that our company had were law firms in Washington, D.C.
Okay.
And so I would go from law firm to law firm, like fixing a computer, like replacing a video card or a keyboard or whatever, or fixing a printer. And before that, I used to fix photocopiers. So I had, and I did electronics in the military. And so this is all right up my lane, but I was starting to try to get into comedy, and I was headlining this is like maybe 6 years, 7 years in my career, and I was just starting to headline some places, some B rooms and C rooms. But I was trying to get into the DC Improv, and I dropped off promo 2 years earlier, and I had been and all these law firms are literally right around the DC Improv. I'm constantly walking by the DC Improv to go to my next law firm to fix their stuff. And one day I dropped in there probably like once or twice every 3 months, and just getting nowhere. And one day there's a guy changing the marquee on a ladder, who's coming up next. And I'm walking by and I'm like, man, I dropped my promo here 2 years ago, and I come in and visit and I ask, what I can do to get on the stage here. Nobody helps me. This place is done. And I'm just exasperated at this point. Right. Plus, it's just some dude on a ladder, right? He's not a manager or a boss or anything. He's just a guy on a ladder. Right. He just works there. And I can vent to this dude. Right. And so I'm like, you know what? I'm featuring for Jake Johansson in 2 weeks at the Comedy Cafe, which is like 5 blocks from here on K Street. So I don't need the DC Improv. All right. I've already got this stuff down. Right. So screw the DC Improv. And I'm just losing it at this point. And this never happens. Never, ever. This guy comes around the corner and he's like, hey, is your name Big Allan Goodwin? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, yeah, we saw you headline at Tyson's Corner with Wiseacres like 2 weeks ago, man. You killed it. And I'm like, I don't even know this guy. I'm yelling at I'm the guy on the ladder. I'm like, I don't even know this guy, okay? This never happens. This is amazing. Right. See, more to my point, I don't need this place. Screw this place. And so 2 weeks later, I'm featuring for Jake Johansson at Comedy Cafe on K Street. And this guy, I'm featuring, right? So I just get done with my set, come off stage, and MC goes back up, brings up Jake. Jake's on stage. This guy comes up to me, hands me a business card upside down. He says, do not flip this card over until I leave. And I'm thinking, well, Jake just got on stage. He's got a 45-minute set to do. Yeah. I'm going to sit here for 45 minutes with an upside-down business card.
Wondering what it is. Yeah.
Right. I need to find a mirror.
Yeah. Like, this is crazy. Like, this is, what kind of request is this? Right. And he walks away. I watch him walk back to his table. He pulls out the chair for his date. She gets up. He pushes her chair in. He pushes his chair in, and they both leave. They walk out on Jake Johansson. Now I'm like, who the hell is this? Flip the card over to John's Arias, DC Improv. And I'm like, yes, finally. He was the guy on the ladder.
I was wondering.
He was a manager. You don't think a manager's doing the marquee. He was the dude. And
that's cool.
And he was like, you didn't set that up with the guy. I'm like, no, that never happens. He's like, that's funny. That is really funny. Yeah.
I want this story to be true so bad.
Me too.
Yeah. I hope it is. It's funny, over the years you've heard about comics that pick the fight with Comedy Works downtown Denver. You know what I mean? That just well, I'm not going to come here anymore. And they're like, well, see you know, I mean,
they don't need you.
They don't, man. That place is a powerhouse. You know? We have when I started, there was a guy, I'm not going to call it names, but he felt he should get paid, and he should, you know what I mean? That whole thing, like, I should be raised right away. I've done this for a year already, kind of stuff. And they're like, dude, you know? Right. So he went on this little tangent about how he was boycotting them. And I'm like, do you think they're going to, you know? No. Chappelle is here tonight. Right. You know what I mean? Right. I mean, what leverage do you have here, man?
None.
You know? Yep. And is there anybody nicer than Wendy Curtis? Honestly,
she's very nice.
She's awesome.
Yeah,
I've only dealt her a few times, but I've always got a good positive vibe from her too.
She checked in on me a month ago, just to text, say, hey, how you holding up? Everything going good? Yeah. So
yeah, she's awesome. So I mean, to pick a fight with her, I mean, you gotta, I don't know, but that's a great story, man. That's a great story.
It was an amazing story.
And about what year is that?
That was probably, I started in 91, probably 95.
Okay.
94, 95.
It just hit me like a ton of bricks that 91 probably was a couple decades ago.
Earlier when he said he's been doing comedy for 27 years, and you go, about 29, what year?
29.
Yeah. You've been married for 27. That's where I got that from.
Yeah.
When you said what year, I was thinking probably like 83.
Yeah, right. No, sadly enough, that's what I'm thinking too. I'm like, and he just said I'm like 91. No, that doesn't even. Well, shit, that does add up.
I started with Chappelle. He was 17 when I met him.
He would have been from DC.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah, we worked at Garvin's Comedy Club, and he was 17. His mom would drop him off and pick him up after a set, and he had been doing comedy for 3 years when I met him, and he was crazy hilarious.
Really?
After 3 years in, he was so funny. Yeah. And he'd run jokes by me. I'm like, what are you running them by me for? Like, I just started, and you're amazing.
He's like, you're big Al Goodwin, man. That's why I'm running them by you. Come on now.
Well, no, I'm a comic. I get it. You run them by anyone who listen.
Yeah.
But I was a huge fan, just after meeting him. And then we worked together maybe 5 or 6 months before he went to New York and got on Robin Hood Men in Tights. And
that's right. I forgot about that.
Right before he left, I was like, dude, you're going to blow up. And you're going to be like one of the biggest comics ever. And he's like, I hope you're right, man. And I was right.
When he comes to town, does he remember?
Yeah. He does remember me.
You guys reconnect?
Yeah.
That's cool.
I've gone to see him, and he invited me to the after party, and we hung out. And he's got so many people around him right now. But but it was really cool that he remembered me and invited me to the party. And I've opened for him a couple times before he got the Chappelle show. And then once I worked with him right when he got back from Africa after that $50 million thing with Comedy Central. Right. And he told me the whole story, and it was pretty wild. He was just like, I'm not putting on a dress, and then want to make me put on a dress, and everybody else listen, I'm not going to do it. I just don't want to. And the thing he was really upset about himself, this has nothing to do with the $50 million, is smoking cigarettes. He was like, man, because he really got into Islam when he was in Africa. Right. And he's like, your body is a temple, and you shouldn't smoke cigarettes. But I'm hooked. And I keep trying to get off, and I can't. And
it's hard, man.
Yeah, he's like, I gave up weed, but I can't quit nicotine. I'm like, wow, that's crazy, man. Because I have some really good weed.
Have you ever been a smoker, like cigarettes?
No,
never.
Just
Adam?
weed.
No.
See, I used to smoke 2 packs a day at one point in time. Ooh. But February 25th of this next year, it'll be 20 years since I've had one.
I'm calling that Bullhucker. That's
cool.
I've known Moose for a while, and I remember every year he's
always
talks about his anniversary. So
it is an anniversary for me. It's tough. It
is.
Man, it's a bitch.
Chappelle will agree with you.
Well, you weren't here for the last week, but my buddy Andy Hito, we always call him Hito, we went to that together. It was hypnotism. That's how I quit.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like Office Space?
Kind of, yeah. We sat in this big room at the Clarion Inn in Pueblo, Colorado, and it's funny. They put you under the first time just to show you what it's like. So when you're actually doing the actual hypnotism for the cigarettes, you're not anxious or whatever. And they said, or they brought us back out, and they said, okay, go outside and have the last cigarette of your life. And I'd thrown all my way, so did Andy. So we walk outside. Everybody walks outside, and this lady is smoking. We're like, can we bum a smoke? She's like, no. I'm like, bitch, we're all about to quit. You know what I mean? Like, you're gonna throw that pack away here in like 2 minutes, man. Give me one of your nasty menthols. And she just begrudgingly did it, like, it's like, come on, lady. Wow. But he lasted like 6 months.
Oh, and then he went back?
Yeah, man. Yeah. So every time I post it, you'll notice that Andy sometimes gets on there and he goes, damn it, 20 years ago? Yeah, 20 years ago we did that.
Congrats, man.
No, So I understand the cigarette thing.
You probably might not even be here if you hadn't have done that.
You ain't lying there. You know what I mean? Now if I can just quit the Twinkies and the drinking. Shit.
Yeah, I'm addicted to cheeseburgers.
yeah. So no hypnotism for that.
When I was a kid, my dad used to chew.
Oh, yeah.
He wanted to quit chewing. And so with my redneck hickabilly family, we did everything by the Farmer's Almanac. And we were over at my grandma's house one day, and he was looking at it. And he goes, oh, the sign's right to wean. And he just handed me this brand new can of Copenhagen. And I just threw it in my pocket because, he's like, sign's right, I'm quitting. And he did. He didn't chew anymore after that.
That's like some redneck voodoo shit.
That's what I said, man. The Farmer's Almanac. That's like the redneck Bible. We do everything by that. Oh, look, sign's right to go fishing. Let's go fish. Grab your pole. Let's go fishing. But about 2 or 3 months later, it was during the winter. About 2 or 3 months later, my mom's hollering at me. She's like, Adam Vokey, get over here. I'm like, what is going on? Well, my coat still had that can of chew in it. I'd wore it that day, but I just hung it up and hadn't worn it since. It was like this old ratty coat that when we did farm work, I wore. And she found that can of chew and thought I had started chewing at like 9 or 10 years old.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, no, that's Dad's. And she's like, he don't even chew. I'm like, that's his last can. It's like he handed it to me at Grandma Ruby's house, I swear.
Right.
So
I'm jealous of people that got that kind of
but
willpower.
Yeah.
But the thing is he started like the little cinnamon or butterscotch candies. He started like sucking on those instead. And he had like a couple root canals, and it jacked his teeth all up from all the crunching, all the sugar, and, crunching on that candies.
Right.
But he didn't chew anymore.
Yeah.
As far as I know, he still hasn't. That's
pretty good.
30 years.
Because coming across a can of spit,
That's the worst.
it's the grossest. Yeah.
It's
I'd rather you mess your teeth up and not leave cans of crap all over the place.
Right. Yeah, that's crazy. That's insane. I was going to ask you about Chappelle. So when you met him, no, that's what I was asking you. What brought you to Colorado?
Oh,
from
so
DC?
I don't know if I'm supposed to say this like for tax reasons, but we were living in Northern Virginia. My wife and my son, my daughter and I, and well, my daughter moved out already. She's older. But it was my son, my wife, and I, and he got accepted to CU Boulder.
Nice.
And in-state tuition is $26,000 a year. Out-of-state tuition is $52,000 a year.
Oh, wow.
So we decided that Colorado was a beautiful state.
Yeah, yeah.
We
For $100,000 total. Yeah, that's you know,
like $150,000.
And what year was that you came back or moved here?
2016.
Oh, yeah, well, then shit, that wouldn't have paid for a house. That's the $100,000 bucks that have bought you a house back in 2006.
That'd have been a down payment for a house.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. What are houses like out here in Brush?
So they're gonna start building houses. They're looking around $350 for a house now for a newer one.
That's not bad.
No, for Denver, that's not bad. For us, that's pretty.
You're just like, whew.
I bought my house, Allan, 2006, and I paid $72,000 for it.
Wow.
It's about 1,000 square feet, so it's not a big home.
How many?
1,000.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's not. It's a two bedroom, one bath. You know, but it was $72,000. And I've done nothing to it. I've been working on it a little bit here and there. It needs a bunch of work, but it's already jumped up like $40,000 in value. Like you get that little tax thing in the mail every year, and I'm like, they obviously haven't stopped by, you know.
Yeah,
so
right.
My house, we bought our house for $305 in the Colorado Springs, but it's worth $385 now.
But in Springs, that's a good deal. I mean, Springs is expensive.
$305 in 2016. Yeah.
How big is it? Do you mind me asking?
3,800.
Oh, that's not a bad price at all, then, man.
No.
Yeah.
Not for being in Springs.
Right, and my view out of every window on the back of my house is amazing.
I bet.
It's this Pikes Peak in the middle of every single window.
Oh, that's cool.
It's insane. And it's beautiful. It's incredible.
Springs is a crazy town, though. I lived in Pueblo for years, so.
Yeah.
Which is also a crazy town.
I was going to say, you lived in Pueblo and you're calling
it
Springs
gets
crazy?
less crazy as you go north.
Yeah.
Like Pueblo is like, whoa!
Well, let me tell you this then. So if that's true, what happens when you hit Greeley?
Oh,
Do we make a circle? Are we back to crazy again?
I love the way, you know the joke I did about Greeley last night about the mats?
yeah.
I did that joke at a distillery show, outdoor distillery show in Greeley about, I don't know, maybe 2 months ago. And they loved it. And I love the fact that they can laugh at themselves.
Right.
And it's great. Because everyone was like, you shouldn't. Billy Joe Gillespie was like, you shouldn't do that joke because they're going to be offended. And I'm like, I don't think they will. I think
up,
they
Billy
smell
Joe
it
Gillespie?
too. Yeah, what's up, BJG?
Okay. Well, 3 great stories. You have one in mind?
I do.
I kind of do, man, but we'll
Are
see.
you guys writing them down, or are you going to guess one?
He's going to write his down, but we'll do it. We're gonna break off and come back next week, and then
okay.
And we'll guess then. But yeah, I don't know. I'll have to think about it. So before we go, I want to say thanks for watching, by the way, or listening, or whatever you're intaking this. We just appreciate the support. You can find everything on the bullhucker.com. You can also, if you're on whatever social media you're on, like our page, whatever podcast, wherever you listen to, leave a rating and review if you would, especially on iTunes. That'd be awesome. And if you're on YouTube, please hit subscribe and the little bell. Once again, on the bottom right-hand corner, right towards Alan's crotch, that's where the little green box is. You know, That's not an accident, by the way. Hit that button, or at the very end of this video, you can the little round button with the Bullhucker logo in it. Hit that. It'll also subscribe. The square is the video to watch the next video, and if you're on the current video, it'll take you back to the playlist, so you can watch all the shows again. Because we need the views. We need the views.
View them.
Yep, absolutely. And also, I always forget to say thank you for the Sands Theater in Brush, Colorado. That's where we're filming this. You've seen the logo above Alan's head the whole time. That's right. little to right there is where you see the logo. But they've been awesome about letting us do it in this old theater. It's kind of cool theater.
It is.
Yeah. So thank you, Sands Theater and Brush Change of Comments, for letting us do that. So we'll see you next week. I'm Moose Lundstrom.
I'm Adam Brooks.
And we'll see Allan Goodwin next week. Peace.